The Marine Corps' heavy lift helicopter can transport a light armored vehicle that weighs 26,000 pounds, 16 tons of cargo 50 miles away, or enough combat-loaded Marines to lead an assault or humanitarian operation. The CH-53E Super Stallion is small enough to fit on amphibious assault ships and is powerful enough to lift every Marine aircraft except the KC-130. It also has the armament, speed, and agility to be more than just a heavy lifter. The Marine CH-53E is frequently used as an assault transport for Marine ground forces. It is equipped with window-mounted .50 caliber machine guns, anti-air defense chaff and FLIR dispensers, an in-flight refueling probe with an unlimited range, and a forward-looking infrared FLIR imager for nighttime and all-weather navigation. The Super Stallion is one of the most frequently used aircraft in Marine Aviation due to its rapid resupply of Marines at the front, despite the fact that long-range insertion missions are standard procedure for this Marine workhorse. The Navy requested a CH-53E variant with the designation MH-53E Sea Dragon for the role of airborne mine countermeasures. It has more sponsons, allowing for significantly more fuel storage and endurance. It could be outfitted internally with up to 7,300 US gallon, 1,136 liter ferry tanks and retained the in-flight refueling probe. The MH-53E's digital flight control system has features that make it easier to tow minesweeping equipment. Background. The CH-53 was developed as a result of the 1962 Heavy Helicopter Experimental HHX competition held by the United States Marine Corps. The S-65 Sikorsky was chosen over the modified CH-47 Chinook version from Boeing Vertol. On October 14, 1964, the YCH-53E prototype saw its first flight. The helicopter was given the name CH-53E Sea Stallion, and production deliveries of the helicopter started in 1966. The initial CH-53Es were powered by two General Electric T-64GE6 turboshaft engines that produced 2,850 horsepower, 2,125 kilowatts. They had a maximum gross weight of 46,000 pounds, 20,865 kilograms, which included the payload of 20,000 pounds, 9,072 kilograms. The RH-53A and RH-53D were utilized by the U.S. Navy for minesweeping. Other variants of the original CH-53A Sea Stallion include the HH-53B/C, CH-53D, CH-53G, and MH-53H/J/M. External fuel tanks and a stronger version of the General Electric T-64 engine found in all H-53 variants were included in the CH-53D. The CH-53G was a West German version of the CH-53D that was made for the German Army. The Super Jolly Green Giant HH-53B/C of the United States Air Force was first used for special operations and combat rescue during the Vietnam War. The Air Force's MH-53H/J/M Pave-Low helicopters, the last of the twin-engine H-53s, were outfitted with extensive upgrades to the avionics so that they could operate in any weather. Variants. The Navy and Marines were able to demonstrate that the Army's helicopter was too large to operate on landing ships and were permitted to pursue their helicopter in 1970, despite pressure from the U.S. Defense Secretary to take the Boeing Vertol XCH-62 that was being developed for the Army. In the early 1970s, prototype testing looked into adding a third engine and a larger rotor system with a seventh blade. First flight of the YCH-53E took place in 1974. The CH-53E received a more powerful transmission and a fuselage that was extended by 6 feet 2 inches, 188 meters. The blades of the main rotor were replaced with titanium fiberglass composites. Additionally, the layout of the tail was altered. A larger, vertical tail was installed in place of the low-mounted, symmetrical horizontal tail. The tail rotor was tilted from the vertical to counteract the torque from the main rotor and provide some lift during hovering. A brand new automated flight control system was also added. The pilot was prevented from overstressing the aircraft by the digital flight control system. To keep their CH-53Es in service, The U.S. Marine Corps had intended to upgrade the majority of them, but this plan was put on hold. After that, Sikorsky proposed a new model, which was initially called the CH-53X. The USMC signed a contract for 156 of the CH-53K aircraft. Since the Marines needed new helicopters quickly, they planned to begin retiring CH-53Es in 2009. The USMC ordered 227 more CH-53K helicopters in August 2007. November 2011 was set as the date for their first flight. Biggest helicopter. The 3-engine CH-53E Super Stallion is significantly more powerful than the original twin-engine CH-53A Sea Stallion. Despite their similar dimensions, a larger main rotor system with a 7th blade was also added to the CH-53E. The CH-53E can carry externally slung loads of up to 36,000 pounds, 16,330 kilograms, and can transport up to 55 troops with seats installed along the cabin center line, or 30,000 pounds, 13,610 kilograms, of cargo. The CH-53E has 30 troop transport seats, but it has the same crash attenuating seats as the MV-22B to make passengers more likely to survive. The Super Stallion has a range of 621 miles, 1,000 kilometers, and a cruise speed of 173 miles per hour, 278 kilometers per hour. A forward expandable in-flight refueling probe is included with the helicopter. It can carry 3 machine guns, one of which is at the crew door on the port side, one directly behind the co-pilot at the port window, as well as a firing spot on the tail ramp. There are also chaff FLIR dispensers on the CH-53E. The largest helicopters in the Western world are the CH-53E and MH-53E, and the upcoming CH-53K will be even larger. They are behind the Russian MiL-26 Halo single-rotor helicopter, the enormous MiL V-12 Homer twin transverse rotor helicopter, which can lift more than 22 tons, 20 tons, and 44 tons, 40 tons, and the MiL Mi-6, the Mi-20 SIXS single-rotor predecessor, which has a lower payload, 12 tons, but is larger and has an MTOW of 42 tons. Operational. Heavy Marine Helicopter Squadron 464 at Marine Corps Air Station New River, North Carolina, was the first unit to use the Super Stallion variant. Over the course of the following few years, Marine Corps Air Station Tustin, California, saw the formation of HMH-465 and HMH-466, 2 additional squadrons. Additionally, HMT-301, a West Coast training squadron, and HMH-772, an East Coast squadron operating from a reserve base in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, were given Super Stallions. Since then, ES have taken the place of CH-53S and DS in other Marine heavy lift squadrons. MH-53E shipboard-based Sea Dragons were utilized for mine clearing operations in the Persian Gulf off the coast of Kuwait during Operation Desert Storm. 2 CH-53ES rescued Captain Scott O'Grady, a pilot of an F-16 Fighting Falcon who had been shot down over Bosnia on June 8, 1995.